Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you? And I hope you're about to enjoy a fantastic holiday season. As you know, my career is basically over, and this year, just reflecting on some of the things that I have done wrong. And I'm going to try to write a book. That's what I'm going to do in 2010 to tell you about all the pitfalls and all the bad habits and all the absurd things that I continue to do, no matter what I would, say to you guys, regardless of how wrong I knew what I was doing. No matter what I tried to do to avoid the same mistakes, it seems like I can't get away from it. So, the true meaning of insanity, as everyone knows, is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking you're going to get a different result. That is my trading career. No matter what I hold, I could pick 20 stocks, sell 19 of them. I'm sorry, I could pick what I'm trying to say is I could have 10 stocks. I'll sell 7 of them. Those 7 will keep going. The 3 that I hold will collapse. If I sell 5 of them, the 5 that I hold will collapse and the other 5 will continue to go up. If I sell 1 of them, 9 of them will go down. The 1 that I sell will collapse. This is what I'm talking about, U.S. Steel. Let me explain to you why I sold U.S. Steel. Well, first off, let's go back to the day that I was feeling good. Sometime in early November when U.S. Steel was collapsing, and then there was an intraday reversal, something that I like to talk to you about, and we'll get to that in chapter 6 or 7, where those are the things that actually have worked for me, not pitfalls. Reversals, intraday reversals. That is when a stock, let's say, is gap down and it fights to go green, stays green, and then the trend of upward momentum begins. This is what happened on U.S. Steel about November 3rd or November 4th, around that time. And I bought some $40 calls. Expensive, yes. We were out about a month and a half. And I refused to buy anything on the offer. I don't want to pay. So we were looking at 80 bid by, I think it was $1 offer. So I sat there. I was like, you know what? I'll try to buy at 85 all day waiting. And then the stock started to reverse. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to get these. So finally I did get trying to buy 100 contracts at 85 cents. And I became the bid and nobody wanted to hit that. So then next thing you know, somebody jumped in front of me. I managed to get 10 done at 85 cents. Somebody jumped in front of me at 90 by $1.10. I tried to buy the 90 more at $1, willing to pay up now. Didn't get hit. Finally got 10 more at $1. So there I was with 10 contracts at 85 cents, 10 contracts at $1. Okay, thinking that U.S. Steel would end the year at 50. I was convinced that there was no way big U.S. Steel was not going to end on a high note for the end of the year. I thought the sell-off was misconstrued, and probably because of the reason that it was getting some bad press, Nucor, somebody come out. The idea of if there's going to be a world booming economy, if the world is fantastic again, which apparently it is, and growth is ripe and fantastic, China is doing this. But here's what happened. So the stock started to rally. As a day trader, what do I see? I see profits the next day. You can call that a day, you can call it a swing, whatever you want. So then the options are trading at 150. So I'm thinking 85 cents to 150 in a day's work, percentage-wise, that is fantastic. I'm a genius. This is superb. Fantastic. Sold 10 contracts at $1.50. Whoopee. Whoopee con. Whoopee, 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 whoopee. So then I decided to hang on to the another 10 contracts, and then while staring at the computer, as I always do, convinced that the market was just about to sell off. I think there might have been a turn. U.S. Steel might have pulled back 20 seconds. Oh, I better get out of those other 10 contracts. Sold those at, I think, $1.55 or possibly $1.60. In theory, that day, that was a good day. Those were good trades. But forgetting the idea that the idea behind buying the $40 calls is because I thought the stock would go to 50. Seemed like an absurd price prediction considering the stock had just finally reversed at about 33.5 and now we're sitting at 35. I think the stock was around 36 at the time, and I'm thinking the stock got 14 points to go in. Because you have to think outlandish. You have to think in absurd ideals to make money in this market. You say a price, just like my Google prediction when the stock broke 500. I said, now that it broke 500, it'll probably go to 600. Just like when a stock goes to 80, it goes to 100. And when it breaks 100, it goes to 120. Why? Because that's what it happens. You have to believe. There's no rhyme or reason. So let me get into why. Part of the reason why I sold out of the US Steel, it was because articles like this, and this was on December 10th. This was a month after. From Alpha Trends, a well-respected, apparently, website, blog, whatever you want to call it, the world steel production grew by 13.1% in October of 2009 from 1 year ago. On the surface, that sounds great for USA steel companies. Unfortunately, of that growth, was outside the USA. The USA steel production actually shrank by 12.4% that period. Japan slipped 12.9%. Steel production grew in China, Russia, and the Ukraine. China is the world's biggest steel producer, as it produced 51.7 out of the 103.9 million tons of worldwide production in 2009. The overall U.S. steel industry has not been growing. The U.S. produced a paltry 5.9 million tons, roughly an order of magnitude less than China in October of 2009. China is the clear leader. It is important to keep that in mind when you evaluate U.S. steel companies. U.S. Steel is by far the worst performing company in its peer group when you graph revenue growth. EBITDA, TTM, it's the worst when you graph revenue growth versus earnings versus yield. On and on and on and on about all the reasons that U.S. Steel sucks. On and on and on and on and on. Is U.S. Steel going back to its former glory soon? I don't think so. China's accounted for 86% of the overall demand since 2006. Okay, so that was on December 10th. Articles like that, articles where people say you have to do your due diligence. Now, your due diligence as far as it being an investor, now what is that? That's going out and reading other people's opinions. Because obviously the only true way to become a real investor is to call the CEO of the company, ask him to send you the books and have a conversation with the CEO, then also suspend your disbelief that he's actually telling you the truth. Do you think if you speak to a CEO of a company, he's going to say, yeah, you know what, Jefferson, you're right. The production does suck. I have no prospects for the future. China is kicking our ass. I don't even think we're going to be able to compete with Russia. I think we might actually close up shop and just call it a day and just close the company. Do you think that's what he's going to say? Of course not. So in theory, the only way to get true due diligence is to have a part ownership of the company, see the books inside, and see how the orders are coming in. This is stuff that you and I cannot do. So what we are left to do is read articles such as this one, such as a qualified bloggers, and it goes on and on and on. So then you go on and you search for more stuff. And lo and behold, what was funny is that it became Alpha Trends again. And this is somebody who is pretty well respected, right? This is somebody where, you want to read and take their opinion. Okay, so now we're at December 23rd, which is yesterday. Latest Q3 GDP downward revision may signal end of the industrials rally. That's hard to believe considering we're going to Dow 20,000. Okay, the Q3 GDP revision to 2.2 issued yesterday most likely signals the end of the rally leadership for the industrials. Industrials, and especially the industrial metals, have been leading the equities markets up for 2 months now. The rally has begun up from 2 months from now. Basically, if you really want to get technical, the reason that the industrials metals have rallied is because this fucknut got out of the stock. It's simple as that. And if you don't believe it, just come to the website. Just come to hitthebid.com, come to hitthebid.ning.com, my secret underground lair. Talk to the people that have seen what I do. Every single time I sell out of something, it goes up. And over the last 2.5 months, which has basically ended my career, every single trade that I did, the stocks went up. 100% of the time. 100% of the time. And every stock that I held on to has sucked ass. ENER. Oh, I put a freaking stopper on that momentum stock. Heat. Destroyed that one. Oh, let's see what else. I don't know. Oh, the Digital Globe. That stock hasn't moved in a month and a half. The Hearn. Stock was making a nice downtrend. Boom. Hit a brick wall. Collapsed. Chesapeake, I sell out of. US Steel, I sell out of. Okay. So anyway, now here we are yesterday. He's saying he's shorting as a full disclosure, he wants to let you know that he's shorting US Steel. And that was yesterday. So basically, he's down 3 points. Now, here's the thing. Let's say the stock goes to 75 and then collapses back down to 50. Will this guy say he was right all along? That's what will probably happen. And you'll read about how he was so smart. That US Steel. See, I told you so. US Steel, once it goes to 75 and collapses back to 50. Because right now, the market is innocent until proven guilty. Until we start seeing earnings that are awful, that market will not go down. Please, for the love of God, do not short stocks for whatever you do. I don't want to sound like Kramer and just be a buy buyer, because right now we're detached. It's not about these companies. It's not about these prospects. It's not about anything but the money pouring in. We don't even know where it's coming because the money on the sidelines. The money on the sidelines. How many times can we hear the money on the sidelines? You know what? When the money on the sidelines comes in, that's when we hit Dow 20,000. December 2012, Dow 20,000.